Hey guys, Stoney here, and I'm just going to go over a breakdown on a trade I took on GU on Friday, which would be the 26th of March. So just to break down into structure a little bit, we are very bearish in structure. Overall, we are bullish in the daily time frame. We had just retraced from that daily zone in February, early February, and we have retraced since after creating a new daily higher high. 4-hour structure though, 4-hour structure is bearish. We have transitioned past here, so we're looking at A, B, C, D. So this is currently our leg of price action that we're working inside of, down here being our lower low point. The reason it's not marked as such is because when I woke up in the market, we hadn't yet created a concrete floor, which we had now, but that's why you don't see a lower low line where you see a lower high line here, because I knew that we were creating structure. We're just waiting for a floor to create. So coming into the market, I'm just going to go down to the hour time frame. I woke up about 3:30 a.m. So this is looking at 5 p.m. the previous day. So I'm just going to speed up until I got out of bed. So right now we're looking at 1 a.m. in the morning, looking at Frankfurt open here after 2. Frankfurt got a push down, and then I knew London was bearish. So going on to the 15-minute time frame, seeing London is right here at 3 a.m. So London comes in right here. So London was bearish, selling pressure into this zone right here. This zone is just a 4-hour zone that I have shrunk down to match the level of buyers. So it did eliminate, it did start here from this area right here in price. As you can see, it was tapped here and tapped here, but the extent of price action is captured somewhere in between the lows here and the highs here. So you can just say right here is the order block that we're working off of. As you can see, price came down and London tapped that area, which would be corresponding with this area. I actually had the area below it marked, trying to get London to push down lower, but we didn't get that, so we didn't take it. So on the 15, you can see at that 3 a.m. London pushed down. So I was awaiting now for my confirmations on this zone. So the trade idea that we were going to take was going to be from this area up to this area, which would be the last AOI that pushed price down. It's important to note that it is not a 4-hour area. It is a 1-hour area, but based on these rejections, I knew we were going to get some type of rejection, and taking price here to here paid out to be a 3.5 to 1. So it was plenty on me. So I didn't have to worry too much about it. So going down into the trade, we waited on the 15-minute for a touch. And then once we touched, I watched the 1 minute for some type of range break or range break and retest, which is what I look for. So once I get a high and a low, I kind of know the direction price is taking. As you can see, this wick here is pushing up. That's telling you that on the lower time frames, like the 30-second, you have a high here. So I knew that once on the 1 minute I saw that we have a high that's been tested twice. So it's tested here, low, tested here, tested here. So I knew this range was going to be the change of character that was going to swap price. If the price was going to change here, this is when it was going to happen, because we came down, and then once we touched the demand, this is where the buyers stepped in. So we know that the sellers are trying to keep price below here, and the buyers are coming from here. So once this is tapped, I range my play out and I look for the break. So we got a break, a quick rejection, a quick fill of this line here, knowing that we'd come up somewhere into this price action. We always wait for the retest. And the reason for that is when we push up higher. So you can see that this is where the sellers are located. So we have sellers here. So remember that when price pushed up here, the liquidity from buyers was picked up here. The selling pressure was picked up here. So the bet is there enough buyers here to beat out the sellers here? And the way to know that is them not letting floors get broken. So our first floor is going to be the top of this range. Our second floor is going to be the bottom of the range. And our last floor is going to be the bottom of the liquidity zone. So as you can see, we came down and we retested. Didn't quite retest where I wanted yet. I always wait for a retest of the zone. We got it, and we got a little push in. So in this situation, whenever you have a push inside your zone, what you want to see is a quick push back out. You don't want to see closure and then retest and then push back down. For a little visual example, we do not want price to go up, retest, and push down. We want price to go down, go right back up, and then retest and move up. We want to show that the floor is still there and it's being respected. And it can't just be respected by getting passed on and passed back up. Price pushed back up, and that showed respect. One of the indications that I used was on the 30-second. I had a line drawn out here. I usually wait for an engulfing, but in a situation on the 1 minute where you have these straight lines, my engulfing wouldn't appear till up here. And if price pulls away too fast, which you'll see, it's hard to get in. So I was waiting for a closure above there. So once that happened, I entered on the next candle. So let me just highlight my trade. The reason I didn't get in down here was because I was setting my position up, and this wasn't a huge confluence, but when price started pushing up, I went ahead and entered. I'm sure on the 15-second, you can see how it acted. It was very quick on the push up. So luckily I got in here and it pushed up. So just going to the 15 so you guys can see the trade itself. The trade itself was measured out to be a 3.5 to 1. Our stop was just below the zone because we wanted to be safe on liquidity. And our first TP was going to be a 1 to 1. So the reason I do that is to get risk free. The idea of getting risk free, I use it so I can take more shots. Because as soon as I'm risk free, as you can see, I went 1 to 1. I changed the color of my stop to gray. It just tells me visually that I'm risk free on the trade, and I don't have to worry about losing any money. So whatever money I made on going risk free, I'll lose if I get stopped out. So as you can see, price pushed up very, very quickly, which is always a good sign. We watch for transition on higher time frames. On the 15-minute, we have yet to transition. We push down, we push up, and as you can see, we continue to close higher and higher and higher. Now, here's a little example. We got this high, and then you might tell yourself, okay, well, I'm going to close my trade early. When this starts happening, you can be fearful. But just remember, A, B, C, D. 15-minute has transition. The 30-minute, A, B, C, D has transition. The hour, A, B has not transitioned. So being fearful shouldn't happen until that transition occurs. And also, I want to speak to rolling stops. This is why you don't roll stops. You would have got tapped out and missed the entire play less than an hour and a half later. The total of the time was 3:32 till 9:50, and we ended up pulling out 3.51%. This is just a London open move or a post-London move, taking the volume from London to the volume from New York. 9:50 occurred, and just to cut out replay mode, or I won't do that because we're like 3 days later, push back, and you can see that the target was a strong target. We did push a little bit higher, but overall, it did get respected. And it goes into times too, knowing that it was 9:30 here or 9:30 here. We got New York entering the market here. And once it failed to break, you shouldn't have held anyway once you saw this pattern, this head and shoulders pattern. So that's the trade I took on Friday, guys. Ended up paying a little over 4% just because I take a little bit more leverage out. If you guys like the content or you enjoy it, please send me a message on Telegram at Stony Financial. Right now, my Instagram is down because I'm on a dopamine detox. So I'm going to end this before my baby starts crying, and I will see you guys next time.